Hey guys, it's Tuesday night. I think it's September 28th. I just wanted to come outside and make a little video. You see a street light down in the left corner of the video, and there is a drone at the end of the street. There's a couple of stars in the sky. That is just a huge drone right at the end of the street. Right when I walked outside, like I've been up all night with my attackers, you see the street light, and look right above the street light. That is a huge drone. It is not a star. It's like just doesn't even look like it's hovering there. It's not a star at all. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a just blatant drone right in the sky. And my neighbor's house, they have all their lights on. You see their lights on. They have their lights on all night long, all the time, because they're constantly bombarding me with microwaves. And it's kind of what we do, you know. Got it pretty well blocked. I got my plates put to where they're buffering some of it. That's a huge drone right at the end of our neighborhood. Right when I walked out, I was just checking the corrugated steel at both ends of my house, because I have both sides. I got these gentlemen and my main stalker. You see, it's like 3:30 to 4 in the morning. His lights are on in the front. His lights are on in the back of his house, because he has to use his weapons on both sides. There's the drone at the end of the neighborhood right there. Huge drone. I mean, just real blatant. It's getting really tiring. It was funny. I was watching like a video of Freedom of Fascism, where they were talking about how, you know, the currency's being devalued because basically they're just printing money and it's not based off anything. And I was kind of like talking in the house at a regular tone, and I said, it's kind of like this. It's like human activity has always kind of been like, you know, valued in the past. So it's like this is kind of like just making up stuff that's not valued, but kind of pretending like it has value. And every second that goes by, it's just devalued. And it's pretty much devalued. Didn't have any value to begin with when they started it. You know, murdering me in my house and people following me everywhere. We're going to fight it. There's a huge demonstration in Washington on October 3rd, and I think it's either September 28th or 29th. I'm not sure. I think it's the 29th because it's late at night. Here's another car coming by, gang stalker. They had one, and that truck pulled right out there into that house. I've never seen a white truck in that. Parked in the neighbor's house, like right there. There's a car that pulled out that right there by that stop sign right when I walked out of the house. I forget about it sometimes, but they're always. And this is 4 o'clock in the morning, so he's like honking at that house at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know who's going somewhere at 4 o'clock in the morning. Huge drone at the end of the neighborhood. I guess people go to work this early. I don't really know. Oh, like tons of activity. 4 o'clock in the morning. Person across the street. That white truck that I've never seen in that driveway. White truck pulling out across there. Another car. I don't really care. I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of looking at that drone. It's weird. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's like everybody, like I guess around, like this house across from me, this house, not that house, and then these two houses, they're up like pretty much all night, just kind of watching me. These two houses are shooting microwaves in my house, and they treat it as kind of like a job / military mission / police action. I don't know. I was looking at the the DHS website today, and it was just talking about, like, the fusion centers and, how they do neighborhood watches, and, if you see something, say something. And it had a big thing about, like, doing things and making sure that the neighborhood knows about, their privacy rights, their civil liberties, and their civil rights. And so I ended up calling the DHS, like, national hotline, talking to somebody, and I was like, well, I think that these fusion centers are kind of involved in my life. It's like they're, I see cars, see certain types of cars. And this is 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, you guys, with these cars here. It's a car right across the street there. And they're involved. Those guys in those houses, I don't think they don't have microwave weapons. These guys don't have microwave weapons right across. This house does, and this house right by me. Not sure about the house across from me, but pretty much everybody, under the veil of it being something like kind of related to DHS, sees me as the bad guy, as the person to be watched, and there's money being made. What I'm kind of figuring out, and this is my theory on it, is that, my main organizer, he basically just lies to DHS, says that he is, like, kind of watching out for the neighborhood, and then he piles up weapons that aren't, they're not sanctioned by DHS. DHS isn't saying you can go ahead and cook this guy in his home. So he's kind of hiding within this initiative that DHS has, and that other agencies have kind of gotten together and, have built this kind of thing. And what it's done is it's made this monster where these guys who do want to kill, and they don't really care about looking out for terrorism because they are the terrorists, they've kind of hid in the middle of these legit programs. Because they're just, it's taken too many agencies and putting them together, and it's a lot of confusion, and it's the beginning of, like, trying to work together with all these agencies. So these men who really just want to kill people, and they're like, well, this is justified, because we got a drone, we got the police caravanning him, so it's justified, we're doing this. They're basically lying to everybody in the core of it, who know about the microwave weapons, saying we can cook this guy in his home. It's, like, pretty much from DHS. But what I found out is that I don't think DHS is approving the cooking and the microwaving of people. I think they're saying this guy can kind of watch the neighborhood. He can't even look through my walls and surveil me like he is doing, but he can kind of look out and just see any kind of activity that he can see outside of his house. So I think he's totally misreporting to them, saying that I'm doing dangerous things or whatever, or, lying to them, and then he keeps getting money. He gets paid money for lying that he's doing valid actions while he's really the terrorist in all of this. He's, shooting me with microwave weapons, getting drones. They're using weapons on me and stuff like that. So it's like he's not getting the money because he's cooking me in the house. He's getting the money because he's reporting to DHS. He's a TLO, and he's reporting that he's doing legitimate actions and just kind of keeping an eye on everything, protecting the neighborhood, while he cooks me in my home and destroys my family. So it's like he's doing these illegal actions and funneling weapons that aren't sanctioned and are very random weapons from, people all over the place. That aren't, DHS isn't giving him these weapons, these are maybe from private corporations or just random people who've done this before. So it's really it's not like our government coming after, well, these are theories that I have, but I feel like it's not really our government's coming after us and murdering us in our homes and knowing about all this. It's loose initiatives with a bunch of agencies kind of in the mix together, trying to work together. But since it hasn't been done before, It's very confused and chaotic. And then men like my organizer, he uses that confusion. He makes money saying that he's doing honest things to watch me or make sure I'm not dangerous, while he goes ahead and he is the biggest terrorist I know, and he murders families. So he's not getting paid to murder families and be a terrorist and cook me, but he's lying to whoever's above him and saying, hey, I'm watching the neighborhood and stuff like that. Getting paid to basically lie and say he's doing legitimate actions while he's murdering me in my house. And a lot of people on the street, like even, good people, there's a Miller Lite truck down there, or a Bud Light truck, I'm sorry. He lives with the girl, I think they're boyfriend and girlfriend, and he basically participates, and his business participates in caravanning me. So they've gotten part of the grant money to do the vehicular harassment, or as they would call it, patrolling. I looked on go look on the DHS website about fusion centers, and it's just spectacular what's happening to us and how they kind of portray it, because they say civil rights, civil liberties, privacy, and security a whole lot of times. They speak about Citizens Corps, which basically the Citizens Corps are the people that do the one light cars around us, the vehicular stalking. But they, consider it patrolling or watching out, for dangerous people. And they definitely don't know about me being microwaved in my home by directed energy weapons. And that drone's moving, like it was like right above over there, and now it's moving across the sky very slowly. I mean, that's just a blatant drone. It's not a star at all. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if it shoots microwaves or if it's just kind of monitoring the neighborhood or whatever. I mean, I think it's really, I guess it's maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. But the flurry of activity, white truck that I've never seen in that parking lot come through. Right when I came out, a white car came through. Then at that house, and y'all saw it all. You saw the activity, and it's like 4:30 in the morning. So this is a lot of these people's lives. Like this guy in this house, he doesn't do anything but like sit up against his wall with this equipment and surveil me. And he says he has to do this, and it's been for 4 years at this location, at my house now, my private home now. It's been 7 years in all, about 7 years in all, and 4 years at this location. But I mean, we're making great strides. Like the conference calls, we're talking about a lot of defenses. I'm sitting on equipment that is very, very defensive, and so I don't get too hurt. The other night, like I was worried about this house having remote capabilities, the Mexican gentleman's house having remote capabilities. So I moved a plate over there, and then I started getting a lot of high-pitched sound when I was sleeping, and I got really hurt in my sleep last night. I woke up and I felt like I was cooked. But then I moved the plate back over here to the back of the house. I've been more comfortable, and I feel like I would have a better night's sleep tonight. So that one plate, and I have 17 over here now, 17 plates, tabletop defender plates. And I'm looking now, and I'm going to talk to Q-Wave. I mean, it's a drone. Like, I mean, they're spending so much money, I guess, on and it's not about me. It's about, like, a lot of money is kind of going to a lot of people. A lot of people get to use equipment. A lot of people see this as a job. They are making salaries off of this, and building it up in our community. And it's a lot of danger for the families around here. Not from me, but from the microwave weapons spraying around, the directed energy weapons spraying around. It's a different neighborhood than when I moved into it 4 years ago, where basically everybody seemed pretty free. They were doing their own thing, and now it's kind of like a weird, kind of bizarre, kind of cult. Nobody really pays attention to their own stuff. They're all, either monitoring me or, doing some weird kind of bizarre cult activity, it seems like to me. I took out the video camera just for that drone right there because it's just so obvious. But I guess I did, I called DHS nationwide, And then I left a message with DHS, the justice sector of DHS, and hopefully they'll call me back, because I do want to let them know, because my theory is that it's like they started an initiative to watch neighborhoods and to look out for neighborhoods, and then men like my organizer and men who are microwaving us in our homes, they started abusing this and going about 10 million times further into like getting equipment to surveil people through their walls. And this wasn't really, I think, an initial want of DHS, but since the equipment was out there with the military and certain corporations that are funneling money into this, now it's become a bunch of agencies who don't know what the other agencies are doing. They're trying to get together and share information, and it's just sharing false information. The guy's making up information about me so that he can get that false information back to DHS, make his money, and then go ahead and convince some of the people in this core microwaving part of it to keep murdering me in my house and breaking into my house and poisoning my property, which I don't think DHS, my theory is that they don't know about. He doesn't report the poisoning and the microwaving to them and how many weapons he has, cooking my body, to DHS. He reports to them that he's keeping an eye out. He makes his salary or the money that he's making, to do that, to be a good citizen in that, and then he completely abuses, he covers himself up in that initiative, which DHS doesn't even know he's doing, to trick people in the neighborhood into going along with basically my murder, my habitual harassment, ritual torture, even when I sleep, especially when I sleep, they cook me. Because if I'm awake, if I stayed awake, I'd be fine. But if I go to sleep for 8 hours, I wake up and my spine feels cooked, and it's just staying still where your body doesn't have a lot of defenses going on. The directed energy weapons are a lot more efficient, and I think he turns them up so that I don't realize how bad he's hitting me. And then he'll kind of turn them down when I'm awake, so I think that I'm safe, and that, basically hiding it in the hidden stuff. It's layers and layers of deceit. Like I said, we're making strides. I mean, we're getting evidence. I'm gonna get a tri-meter very soon and some stuff on my phone. It's ridiculous. I mean, what I was saying about this guy, there's a guy with a Bud Light car down the street, 2 houses down. So you got the Mexican gentleman's house right there. They're involved with ground weapons. I thought they had remote weapons, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about that, because I moved a plate over and I put some corrugated steel on that side, and I seem to be fine with them, and it seems to be helping with the remote stuff that this guy is shooting. But 2 houses down, there's a nice young woman and the guy with the Bud Light truck and their girlfriend, boyfriend. So the guy with the Bud Light truck, I'll see Bud Light trucks kind of caravanning me, and so they've gotten into the grant part of the program with DHS and the Citizens Corps, which will, I guess they call it patrolling me, but since I'm an innocent civilian who hasn't committed any crimes, and I used to smoke pot occasionally, but now I haven't done that in half a year. So I haven't done anything illegal in half a year. Smoking pot was my biggest crime. It was my only crime, actually. It was my only crime. But so he's gotten involved in the grant program with Bud Light and his company, and then he lives with her, and then I've seen her, she'll come out of her driveway at the same time I'm driving out, and they'll walk their dog kind of to where they can come out of a side street with me driving by. And she's a very nice, she's a nice woman, but she's basically, she's compartmentalized in that part of the program where the harassment is happening. I think, she doesn't know about the microwave weapons. I know she doesn't. And I think she thinks, okay, this guy, he did something wrong in the past. DHS is watching him, and these people are getting grants and money to, keep our neighborhood safe. And this guy can just leave if he wants, and it's pretty much safe. And so a lot of these people who get involved, they don't know that somebody's being cooked alive inside their house. They wouldn't participate, but since they're brought in on another compartmentalized level, where it's like they think that I've done something wrong, they don't, whatever lies they've been told, then they want to get me out of the neighborhood, but still they think it's safe because they're just like, oh, we're showing him we know, and he can just leave. But as every target individual knows, these guys are remotely hitting me with directed energy weapons anywhere I move, basically in the world, and I think pretty much in the world. They're going to be able to hit me. And a lot of the people who are participating in this, who think it's safe and think it's just patrolling or monitoring of individuals, have no idea the corrupted core, which is in the middle. And I'm not even sure how much DHS knows about like the kind of weapons these guys have. I don't think they report a lot of the random weapons that they're getting in, nor do I know if they're even reporting any of the weapons that they're actually microwaving me with and cooking me with, because it could be a whole nother portion of the kind of conglomeration of businesses or corporations and governmental agencies all involved in this kind of effort to stop terrorism. And then you got a guy right in the middle of it, and he's the terrorist. Like, he's the terrorist, and he's cooking me and hurting my family, and they're saying that I'm the dangerous guy. So, y'all tell me y'all's thoughts on that, whether you think DHS knows about this. I'm going to be talking to them a lot more because you just go to their Fusion Center website. Just go look up Fusion Centers and see their mottos and kind of on their website about how because that's the vehicular stalking. That's when you see a fire truck or an EMS worker or a policeman and they're patrolling you. They call it patrolling. I call it vehicular harassment because I'm an innocent American who hasn't done anything. But go on their Fusion Center website, look what they wrote. I called the national number, and I told the lady, I was like, my neighbor is like hitting me with directed energy weapons. He's hurting me. I'm a citizen who hasn't committed any crimes. So like it's somehow he's using y'all's initiative, to corruptly terrorize and cook my body. And she was like, you need to call your local law enforcement if your neighbor's doing that. She seemed to know what I was talking about, but she seemed to, be like, I can't help you. So then I called the local office, the justice arm of the Department of Homeland Security, and left a message. I'm gonna have some discourse with them. Either they blow me off and it causes more problems for me, or they really need to know about this stuff. Because I have a theory that it's just, they have an initiative to watch neighborhoods, and they do pay people to do this. And if I was just caravan by cars or whatever, and I can go into my house and be fine and not be microwaved and surveilled through my walls, I'd be fine with it. Like there still need to be discussion because it's completely communistic and there could be a lot of trouble from it in the future. But as long as I'm not being murdered and I can go into my house, I don't think I'd have as big of a problem with it. There still need to be discussion about what they're doing, but it wouldn't be a complete failure, like screw the pooch on it. And I think it's just too many agencies across too big of because it's basically a world program with too many agencies and it's corporations throwing this equipment and throwing in a lot of money. So then you get these cores of microwavers and people using directed energy weapons who actually will probably act like they're, honest citizens working on the DHS Fusion Center front, reporting in kind of lies, and then going ahead and they're the actual terrorists in it. So I think it's a lot more complicated than just like our government's out to cook us in our homes. I think it's when a lot of stuff comes together like this, it can create a lot of the left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing. these are just thoughts, though. These are just theories, kind of. So y'all comment below on what you think. We need to stop it anyway. But what I think the deal is, I think a lot of people in DHS know that this abuse is happening. I think a lot of people in all the agencies know it's happening, but nobody can really put the kibosh on it because there's so much money involved. People would lose their jobs. Like, a lot of these people making money from it would, lose a lot of that money. So it's like nobody really has the balls to stand up and say, this program's a monster now. It's killing innocent Americans. We've got to stop this and just scrap it. Because if people knew that a DHS initiative like fusion centers was flowing into murdering Americans in their homes, they couldn't even keep the initiative of the Fusion Center initiative and watching neighborhoods. It'd have to completely go. Americans would be like, this has to completely go. They would maybe not even let anything like this rear its head again. So that's kind of my theory on it, that it's just too much, too big, too much money, and so nobody will stand up and kind of say Americans are being killed, cooked. And it's really just it's creating terrorists, on their side. People who are abusing their authority because they're not really held accountable. This guy can lie to whoever is above him, and just go ahead and cook me alive. My parents don't know about it. It's not DHS agents coming and talking to me. My parents going, hey, we heard your son was maybe a little bit of trouble. It's nothing like that. It's some secretive guy, stalking and lying to people and doing bizarre stuff and actually cooking my body, and watching me naked in my house. So I think it's a big, big mess, and it's a lot more complicated than any of us really realize. I don't think we can just simply say, like, oh, it's our government, and they're out to kill us. I think it's a very complicated mess, and I think a lot of the evil guys who are doing evil and microwaving this in our homes, they're using it. They're covering themselves in something that could be a good initiative to stop terrorism. I'd be fine if somebody thought I was dangerous and they kind of watched me in the neighborhood but not surveilled me through my house, and then saw that I wasn't, and then reported it to DHS, and DHS said, okay, well, we'll just put that one away. We'll put that guy's not dangerous anymore, and we'll keep going and looking for dangerous people. I think I would be, there'd still be problems with that because, we do live in a society where privacy is very important, especially if you're not doing anything wrong. But, if you can go in your house and not be hurt and not be, radared through your wall and surveilled, I'd have a lot easier of a time dealing with that. The drone has moved up into the right a lot. It was way down here. I'll put my finger on the phone so I know y'all can't see it. That's a drone right there. And they're always over my neighborhood. I guess I'm a big case, or I guess maybe all of us are, hounded like this. I didn't even notice it until I walked outside, and then I had a bunch of cars just driving past. I mean, I wasn't expecting it because it's such a quiet, morning. It's like 4 o'clock. Nothing like that would happen, and then I had like 4 cars, coming right up, right across my yard. But that's gang stalking. It's really bizarre. It's like people have lost their minds. They're not even thinking anymore. And it is it's based on kind of a theory that human actions are valuable. It is. It's like the whole, now they're just making money out of thin air, and now people are doing stuff out of thin air. Because we used to value our actions. We valued money because it was backed by gold. Like, people's actions were backed by reason. And now people are kind of using that. They're just kind of creating action out of thin air. And people think that it's backed by reason. They think it has value because human action always has value. But it's almost like the devaluing of our currency, the devaluing of human action. And it's not even devalued human action. They're actually murdering families. So they're using something, trying to look good, and then murdering people all the time. It has to be fought no matter what it is, no matter if it's a mistake made from something that was supposed to be noble and just, or if somebody meant it to murder us in our homes. No matter what, it has to be fought. And it just doesn't matter. Because I'm an innocent American. I love my family. I haven't done anything. And, the whole neighborhood, everybody in this neighborhood around me would spit in my face and just, I don't even know why. I don't even know why they want me dead. Why people are watching me in my house. I have no clue what I've been accused of. And I'll never know, It's like a secret. But they're all on the same page. The people that, are murdering and doing all this, they're all on the same page. They've got all the false accusations. I guess they wouldn't want to tell somebody who's being falsely accused, because then we could, maybe straighten it out. We could know what we're being accused of and then say, no, I didn't do that, and make sure the police knew that, make sure DHS knows that. I'm going to do that anyway, though. I'm going to be talking with DHS, make sure they know I'm not a threat. I guess I should have been doing that a lot more, because it may be able to, maybe if I talk to the NSA and DHS and just get myself off the list, this guy might still be able to hit me with the weapons, but it might stop some of the traction of what he's trying to use to kind of surround him while he does his terrorism. It's kind of getting behind some clouds. There's definitely a drone there. I could hear the V2K a little bit out here. I think there's ground V2K from that house, and then ground V2. I don't think they use V2K. They use ground weapons, because I think they want me to be confused about what's coming from which house. But I think these guys across from me, that house, definitely use ground V2K, and maybe that house catty corner to me. I know they definitely use V2K remotely and ground. And I think these guys are just using ground weapons. I'm trying to figure that out if they're using remote too. But I'm telling you, I moved the plate over to this side, and I had two nights from hell. And I just moved it back over to this side of the house, and it's been doing a little bit better. The ground V2K from over here, the remote V2K, and the remote ELF and EHF, the high-pitched sound. It's just like this every night. It's like I can't believe that, because his light's on in the front and the back. It is every night. They've got an empty room right in the middle, and they have a house full of kids and visitors. The black car guy that came from another state, and they keep a room empty and open that window so that it kind of distances them. If anybody does believe that they're doing anything in that house. These guys did too. They had a room that was totally empty. They kept the window open all the time. It's so blatant and obvious. You don't just empty a room in your house when you have tons of people in it and tons of stuff in it. They actually, I don't know, about a week ago on the Mexican gentleman's side, the window broke. Somebody broke their window or something, and they have bees and stuff, and the bees were flying in the window, and I guess they put a blanket in front of it. I don't know, that's not too weird. It's probably about 5 o'clock in the morning, so he doesn't have one light on. But a lot of stalkers do come through, like right when I'm out here. They'll drive around there. A lot of people will, you see that stoplight, kind of that street light right there, and then that house catty corner, and there's a stoplight right there you can't see because it's too dark. But sometimes there will be just like a cab or a car, and they'll come up to that stop sign, and they'll literally sit there for like 5 minutes. If I'm outside my front yard, they'll literally just sit at the stop sign for 5 minutes, and I won't be looking at them or anything. I'll just be kind of going about my business. They'll sit there for 5 minutes, and then they'll drive real slow right in front of my yard, real slow. And it's not that it bothers me. None of the vehicular stalking or anything like that bothers me. I see it, and it's really crazy. Man, that drone is really moving up. He's going up. It was see that light? It was you can see my finger. Let's see, can you see my finger? It was right above that light. Now it's going way up. Going up, up, up. Went behind those clouds, and now it's going further up. You can barely tell. It does move so... it hovers and moves. It's really sophisticated stuff. That's it right there. That light right there. That's not a star at all. Stay here a little bit longer and kind of watch it. I guess I need to record and really get a journal on these drones, because that's really, that's expensive equipment. I've been doing pretty good tonight, though. Moved that plate. I haven't had too much of the high-pitched sound. And what I'm thinking about doing is, I'm going to call Q-Wave. And so I'm going to maybe try and beg my mom to buy another one just so I can be set up a little bit more comfortable. I don't know. She's kind of will this be the last one? And she's very angry about it. But she usually helps me out. I hope that October 3rd, the demonstration will get some mainstream news attention so that my parents can kind of be a little bit more confident in helping me out with stuff like that. But we're really struggling. My family's really struggling. My health insurance is just through the roof. They can't take care of all my bills and stuff, regular bills. I'm trying to get Social Security, so we're really struggling as a family. So asking for a $500 plate is it's a huge deal, especially when they believe in me, but it's very it's very hard to believe. Even for me involved in it, it's hard to believe that all this effort would go into nothing, would go into really helping this guy murder. It's not really doing anything. I'm not doing anything wrong, so it's not stopping me from doing anything. It's stopping me from living life and getting a regular job. But it's really just facilitating, funneling weapons into this neighborhood and cooking people, to be completely honest. But what I was thinking about doing is on the plates, since I might try and not buy as many, but maybe call Q-Wave and see if I can get some double adapters, which would be basically so I can get 2 plugs, take the 2 plugs, run them through 1 plug into the plate, and just pump more power into the plate. Because I know that kind of works for him. What he's shooting at me, he just gets it. He's got a generator, and he's got a whole bunch of power pumped into the frequencies. So maybe I could just pump more power to the plates somehow. I don't know if Q-Wave has that adapter made where it could do a double power configuration, or maybe I could make something. But maybe I can. But I don't know. I'm doing okay right now, but I still need to kind of keep moving forward on it. My mom does help me out, though. I don't want to ever badmouth her, even if she, may not believe completely. She's a great mom. If I didn't have my parents, man, I'd be out on the street. I'd be living in my car. Because I do own my car completely, but I don't know where I'd be, man. Because having this house and the defenses I built up and help from my parents has saved my life. They've saved my life. And it's I can't imagine if they were totally on board with me and totally believed, as much as I've seen and know. I mean, that's without them. They help me out, even thinking that, maybe thinking my neighbors harass me a little bit, but not really believing a lot of the stuff about the directed energy weapons. And they've helped me so much, saved my life. So, I mean, I really feel for you guys out there, without parents like that, or, I mean, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine where I'd be. It's helped me to get videos out, and like I'm gonna try and get some people here in my area to do some activism where I live, because we're getting close. I mean, if that activism on October 3rd, Pete Santilli is going to be there, Tyrone Dew in Washington, D.C., protests. It's like a protest. I'm not sure where in Washington, but with Pete Santilli there, he's going to at least have it on his show. And with him there, there's really good chance that the mainstream media will pick it up. Hopefully, I mean, it would, like in any regular circumstance, if there's activism like that, and like somebody like Pete Santilli's there, in any regular circumstance, that would be on the mainstream media. So if it's not, we have to start asking some big questions, about them trying to hide this. But I just don't think it's going to be possible to hide it for much longer the way they want to. So we're going in the right direction. And just don't feel embarrassed about it. We're innocent people being cooked and killed in our homes. Like, I mean, I'm sitting out on my street. People can drive by me or say I'm crazy or whatever. But, I have my camera out. I'm making a video. People can try and cause trouble with me or whatever, and I'm just going to do what I was taught in my life. I'm not going to be scared of terrorism, no matter what form it comes in. I love my parents. I'm not going to let them down because they've taught me to be a good kid, and even if they don't believe me, someday they'll believe me. In this life or the one after this, they'll know that I did the right thing. And I think we all have to realize that. It's hard sometimes. Like, I feel like my parents think I'm being selfish, and I'm really doing what they taught me, trying to be in this bad situation and, help some of you guys. That drone has moved so far up, like from that light, it was like right above it, and it is going up very slowly. I think it's trying to kind of tiptoe away from my camera. I'm just going to kind of sit here on it for a couple more minutes. Yeah, my neighbors are shooting me in the neck right now, in the throat. Like I get it feels like gastric acid, heartburn. So they're hitting me right in the throat right now. He's a murderer. There's a car. Oh, that's one of my Hispanic gentleman neighbors. One of the guys coming out in the morning. I'm so tired. I'm thinking whether or not I want to go to sleep or maybe wait till like the mid-morning, so I'll just sleep 4 hours and just get up. I'm not sure. I just know I don't want to sleep a long time. I want to try and start sleeping 4 to 6 hours, but man, when I go to sleep, I'll sleep for like 8 to 10 hours, and then I wake up, and it's so hard to get going. My head feels like the top of my head, like a line in it has been just kind of like burn in it, like my back. Oof. It's pretty it's worse lately, but I've been moving my plates around a lot, and I don't know. I'll get there, and I've been watching a lot on YouTube. I just put a new video out which is really good. It was at my gang stalking hub, the little convenience store near here. And it's moving way up, just slowly. It's moving behind those tree limbs, really slowly, almost unnoticeable. It moves so slow and steady. See, look, there's the light right there, and then I gotta chase it all the way up behind those trees, and there you see it, right there. And that is my yard right there that guy is driving into. But I think, I don't know, I mean, I think kids are going to school and stuff like that. That is my yard. And he's driving up, didn't look at me when he did it, didn't say hello or anything. I mean, tons of people up and down the street are involved. But they're not involved, like, they don't know that I'm being microwaved. I think what happens is I've been reading the DHS website, and the DHS website says that they basically, any communities that they're active in, they'll come and speak to the residents around, I guess they wouldn't call it a target, but just the area where they're going to be having activities. So it really screws us over and tends to justify that, we're crazy or whatever, and that nothing that we're saying is happening, but it's really something just, straight from DHS that is going on. I'm going to start really having discourse with DHS a lot. I don't know about the FBI, but DHS and NSA, I'm going to try to maybe clear some stuff up for myself. And I'd really suggest, I might read the Fusion Center webpage on my next video and just read it, because it mentions the words civil rights, civil liberties, privacy, security, safety. They're not mentioning stuff about taking people out and murdering them and cooking them, directed energy weapons. They don't mention anything about that stuff. I'm going to talk to the Justice, I don't know what you'd call it in DHS, but I guess the Justice Department of the DHS, and let them know. I mean, look at that drone has really slowly, he was real close to that light. He's just slowly going up. He'll probably slowly go up and move over. So I don't think they want, target individuals to really, they want us to just be like, oh, that's a star or something like that. There's no way a star moves like that in the sky, especially this early in the morning. Most of the other stars are gone. There's like two other ones in the sky, and you can really spot, a star, and then how bright this is. If it was a star, it'd have to be very, very close to the Earth. Alright, guys, it's between those trees, going up, moving up slowly. I'm doing okay this one. I'll go ahead and go in and finish the video. It's hard to clear your name when nobody talks about what's happening. Like, it's like they're doing this justice, it's a lie, right? But you can't talk to any of these people and be like, hey, whatever they're telling you, I'm not doing that, because nobody tells you. They just do weird, bizarre, passive stuff around you. Some 9/11 things on the internet. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. Sometimes, I was watching Freedom to Fascism.